Thousands of demonstrators opposed to the Vietnam War assembled in the nation's capital for a mass protest.
The way in which language is used can be telling not just to the speaker's intention, but also gives a window into the social climate of the time. The Vietnam War is famous for having a very stark contrast between the emotions of civilians and the actions of the government. Recruitment policies of the time, including ads, reflected this climate, and this attitude can also be seen in The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. We're first going to look at a 2009 Army ad that I will then contrast to one from the Vietnam War.
American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined.
Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
In this commercial, both the visuals and the language convey unity. The soldiers are all saying the soldier's creed, one oath taken by many to unite against an enemy. This is significantly more representative of a post-9/11 world that exists in an us versus you mentality. Despite the repetition of I, the creed is a series of short sentences that serves to confirm the soldier as part of a unit as opposed to an individual. The words are written in a series of repeating phrases. I am a warrior. I am a member of a team. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am a guardian of freedom. I am an American soldier. These words were clearly written to be said out loud, and the repetition not only helps to make the message coherent and powerful, it also clearly defines what each soldier is. They all say one creed and are part of one group. What you're about to hear is a 1970 Army recruiting ad that's taking place in the peak of the Vietnam War.
We know you have pride in yourself and in what your country can be. We know you have a brain and your own ideas. We know you'd like to share these ideas with hundreds of young men and women from all parts of this country. We know you'd like to further your education, learn a skill, have opportunity for advancement, and 30 days vacation a year. We also know you put a price on these things. The price is your individuality, and you question the Army's willingness to pay this price. Today's Army is willing to pay this price. We're committed to eliminating unnecessary formations, skinhead haircuts, signing out, signing in, and make work projects. In today's Army, you'll find more mature personnel policies at every level. If you'd like to serve yourself as you serve your country, today's Army wants to join you.
The difference between these two ads is clear and vivid. In a culture that prided itself in individuality, the Army seemed like the antithesis of all these ideas. The Army then tried to expand its recruitment policies to become more inclusive and less strict. In order to succeed in this climate, the Army had to make changes that even today would be seen as ridiculous. They're embracing individuality. They want you to serve yourself, and that today's Army wants to serve you. The repetition of the word you serves to direct a message towards an individual, and the obvious emphasis on individual growth inside a larger force seems to comply with the culture of the 70s that embraced both life and self. One of O'Brien's goals is, however, to represent individuality within the Army's forced conformity, representing to a contemporary audience not only the reality of war, but how it fits inside a political climate. In a time where it is easy to view the military as one singular group with singular struggles, O'Brien lays out individual stories. By giving the experience of a single tight-knit group, it is much clearer the impact, both physically and psychologically, that the war has. O'Brien's views of the horrors of war are certainly not unique, but as someone writing from the perspective of one who has grown up in an individualist time, his take on war is: One way in which he does this is he includes small pieces of information that humanizes each of his comrades. This starts in the very first story, as he provides a barrage of items that they humped. In short, digestible sentences, O'Brien lists: Cat Riley carried comic books. Kiowa, a devout Baptist, carried an illustrated New Testament that had been presented to him by his father. Lieutenant Cross carried 2 photographs of Martha. These seemingly statements of fact make these soldiers seem like real people, greatly enhancing the empathy the reader has for them. What starts as merely lists, however, does not fade as the book continues, but only grows, with new substantial additions to the continually growing list of characters. With this development, the sentence structure changes as well, with more room for figurative language and longer sentences. Ted Lavender, for example, is given a soft, spacey smile and the catchphrase, "We got ourselves a nice, mellow war today." Kiowa, as well, is further developed, as he is described teaching a rain dance to Rat Kiley and David Jensen, the 3 of them leaping around barefoot, while a bunch of villagers looked on with a mixture of fascination and giggly horror. Instead of following the story of just one character, branching out so that there are many protagonists gives a more comprehensive view of human nature and shows a wider array of the effects war has on various people. This attitude lasts through the very last story, which is last in the book but not chronologically in O'Brien's life. There are various but all valid responses that the soldiers have to shaking the hand of a dead man. O'Brien feels sickness inside him, but it wasn't the old man's corpse so much, it was the awesome act of greeting the dead. Even if awesome is treated as its original definition and not defined colloquially, it means inspiring awe. Awe is defined as a feeling of reverential respect mixed with fear or wonder. This seems to imply that O'Brien respects this act, an act that makes him feel sick, even though it inspires fear. Even if he doesn't agree with the actions, he understands how those around him have different coping mechanisms. He describes the different responses, but treats them all as valid, further cementing those around him as different humans with different realistic human reactions to trauma. This attention to detail that runs through the book allows for this ambiguity of the truth. As each person presented seems so realistic, it comes as a surprise that they are instead manufactured characters, only serving to increase the level of empathy the reader gives to the characters. It is, after all, much easier to respect real human suffering. The insertion of Tim O'Brien's respect for the individual transforms the stereotypical Ware novel, allowing for a new interpretation. Even though he has to fight against the current vision of the military as a single force, he is able, through an individualistic lens, to evoke empathy and share a truthful story and experience of the Vietnam War.